All right, we are back now here at the KFYR Plus News Desk, and today we are joined by Matt Perdue, the newly elected president of North Dakota Farmers Union, to talk about the upcoming Evolution Ag Summit on February 17th in Jamestown. This year's theme, Linking Soil to Supper, explores some food trends and policy shifts. Matt, welcome to the News Desk. Thank you for your time today.
Well, thanks a lot for having me on, Jay. Excited to talk about a great educational event that we have coming up in February.
Absolutely. Let's get right to it. So, what inspired the theme, Matt, Linking Soil to Supper, for this year's Evolution Ag Summit?
Well, the Evolution Ag Summit is really built around helping farmers, consumers, everybody across the supply chain sort of understand some of the pressures and trends that are impacting what we do day to day. There's been a lot of conversation around shifting consumer demands for food, a lot at the federal level on MAHA, this Make America Healthy Again. And the Evolution Ag Summit is really an opportunity to understand what are consumers driving, what are regulations driving, and how can we respond at the farm level, at the ranch level to those changes.
This is the fourth summit. How does this summit differ from previous years in terms of focus and goals?
Yeah, the first couple years, we really talked a lot about some of this push to decarbonize or reduce the carbon intensity of agriculture. Last year, we talked a lot about growing demand for renewable fuels and the opportunities and challenges that created. And this year, obviously, we're focusing on those consumer food trends. At the end of the day, the goal is the same, right? Help farmers and ranchers understand a key trend that's impacting our markets, that's impacting our operations, and help us get a better sense of how we can respond, how we can drive better decision making, and be more successful.
You mentioned the evolving consumer taste and regulations that are happening. What are some of the biggest changes that you see impacting producers right now?
Well, there's been a lot of conversation around, a lot of different topics, actually. A lot of conversations around food dyes and, some of the impacts there. There's been
Mhm.
a lot of conversations around shifting protein demand, where, I think we see some concerns, I think, on one hand for livestock producers, opportunities on the other hand for folks who are raising dry peas and lentils, who are raising beans. And this event is not intended to convince anybody that those trends are important or that they are good. It's to help build understanding, help people respond, help people make better decisions. And I think we have a great slate of speakers. We have folks coming from Purdue University, folks with a lot of background out in Washington, D.C., and we have some noteworthy institutions here in North Dakota who are going to be a part of this event, really help build that understanding.
Yeah, you've got Leslie Kelly as a keynote speaker. Why was she chosen, and what unique perspective is she going to bring?
Yeah, really excited to have her join the event as well. Many people might know her from her platform, High Heels and Canola Fields. And, one of the things that we need to do a better job of in agriculture is really tell our story. And so every year we've brought in a sort of influencer type who can help us understand how to do that better. And so I think Leslie Kelly's a great example of that. And I think she's going to be a great addition to the event. I think her role really is to sort of inspire people to do more to tell our story, to help the consumer understand what we do on our farms and ranches. And I know that she's also a big advocate for mental health. And, we're in tough times in the farm economy right now. That
Mhm.
financial stress can create a lot of different stress for farm families and ranch families. And so hopefully some of that resonates with the folks who attend as well and gives us the tools we need and understanding we need. Take care of that farm's most important asset. And that's the farmer, that's the rancher.
Are there any upcoming policy changes that farmers should be starting to prepare for as we get
Well,
2026
there's
underway?
been there's been a lot happening with Maha, a lot of different trends and a lot of things that folks will learn more about when they come to the Evolution Ag Summit here at NDFU headquarters. There's been a lot of conversations around crop protection products and different things like that. Those are things that are concerning. We want to make sure that any changes are science driven. And we want to make sure that people respect the important role that family farmers and ranchers play in providing food for a hungry world. And so I think we're going to break down a lot of these trends at the Evolution Ag Summit. I think there's a lot that's on our radar, some good, and some that
Mhm.
concerns us, and that's why we have this event.
Are younger generations changing the way farmers think about production and marketing?
I think, you know, younger producers certainly tend to bring a stronger tech savvy, tend to, you know, bring a little different perspective to how they run their operations. But I think at the same time, we see a lot of those family traditions carried forward on our family farms and ranches. You know, I think from the consumer perspective, we certainly see younger consumers who I think are pickier, more discerning about the food that they consume. They want to know where it came from. They want to know how it was produced. They want to have a connection to that farmer and to that rancher. Those can create a lot of opportunities for producers, but they can also create challenges when those young consumers who don't understand how food is produced in general try to dictate the things that we do on our farms and ranches, and can create constraints, can create hindrances to our ability to meet that consumer demand.
And Matt, if we could take a moment, I'd like to talk a little bit about you. And congratulations on your new appointment as being president of the Farmers Union. With that being said, what are some of your top priorities for the organization?
Yeah, well, really honored that the members elected me and that they trusted me with this responsibility. You know, this is uh, again, tough times in the farm economy. That's when organizations like ours are so important. We are an incredibly strong organization. We have great financial resources. We have a large membership, devoted members, and it's our responsibility to leverage that strength to serve our members, to make life better for
Mhm.
them. And so that's really my focus here over the last month that I've had this job, and continue to look for opportunities to grow our education programs, to support farmer-owned cooperatives who are in turn supporting family farmers and ranchers' success. I think, you know, Farmers Union has the old triangle, the three sides of the triangle: legislation, cooperation, education. I think it's our responsibility to utilize our resources, direct them through that core mission, and always make sure that the farmer, that creating value for the farmer, creating value for the rancher is our number one focus.
And how does the North Dakota Farmers Union plan to support farmers navigating these rapid changes in, as you mentioned, the food system? We had heard Secretary Kennedy talk about more protein, more meat, more dairy in the diets is recommended.
Well, we can help producers, we can help family farmers and ranchers navigate them in two ways. And one is through advocating for public policy that represents and serves in the best interest of family farmers and ranchers. And yes, there are opportunities with, you know, the push for more whole foods that creates opportunities for family farmers and ranchers in some spaces. And the push away from more processed foods can create challenges in other markets. And so advocating for the things that help and advocating against the things that can harm producers is one of our focuses. The other is education, right?
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, we can influence public policy. That public policy influences producer behavior, and we need to make sure that producers understand the opportunities and the challenges that any specific change might pose, so they can adapt, they can respond, they can make decisions that are best for them on their operation.
What excites you most about the future of farming in North Dakota?
You know, we talk a lot about the challenges. We're an important moment where we need to be talking about those challenges. But when I look ahead to the opportunities, there are real opportunities. You know, there's opportunities to grow domestic demand for what we produce. I think renewable fuels markets have really been a game changer here in North Dakota. We see that with soybean crush plants, with ethanol plants. Continuing to grow those opportunities is important. You know, when we look at our cattle producers, I think we see increasing consumer interest in being connected to that rancher, knowing where that beef comes from, buying more local, buying from more regional processing facilities. We certainly see a lot of opportunities there. And so, you know, the opportunities are varied. They're important. We're working every day to make sure that they're available to our members and our members are prepared to capture those opportunities. The other thing I'll say is, you know, we're unique in that we own 8 restaurants out on the East
Mhm.
Coast in the DC and Philly metro areas. And so we spent a lot of time thinking about how we can grow that supply chain. The people who come through those restaurants, they're there because they want to know. They want to know where their food comes from. They want to know that they're buying family farm product. And so we got to continue to capture those opportunities, and we're making a lot of steps toward that every single day.
Matt, we haven't had a farm bill passed. Was it 2018? It's the last time we had a farm bill. How important is that for North Dakota farmers to get a new farm bill?
It's important, very important. And I was just out in Washington, D.C., visiting with our congressional delegation on that topic last week. We got some improvements in the reconciliation bill that passed this summer, increases to reference prices, improvements to crop insurance, improvements to livestock disaster programs. We'd advocated strongly for those. But unfortunately, the Farm Bill Coalition is a little bit frayed right now, and we're working really hard to bring folks back together. The things that are at stake in this conversation are programs like farm loan programs. At a time when farmers and ranchers are dealing with record debt loads, those programs are important. Programs to support our rural communities and make sure that folks in rural communities have access to great water and wastewater systems and economic development opportunities. Programs to support the bioeconomy. The Farm and Ranch Stress Assistance Network, one I love to talk about, which helps farmers and ranchers who are dealing with overwhelming stress and distress. And then we also have conservation programs like the Conservation Reserve Program, where I think we see some opportunities for improvement. And we can't secure those improvements until we get a full farm bill passed. So big priority for our organization, will continue to be a big priority. And that complete farm bill, that Farm Bill Coalition, that is important to the future of family farms and ranches. It's important to rural North Dakota and our state as a whole.
Mm-hmm. The Evolution Ag Summit is set for February 17th. Jamestown, North Dakota, Farmers Union President Matt Perdue, thank you so much for your time today. I sure appreciate and meeting you as well. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot for having me, and look forward to seeing everybody at the Evolution Ag Summit here in Jamestown.
Thank you. Talk to you soon, Matt. Bye-bye now. All right, 28 after the hour. Let's take a break. We're right back here with more next on KFYR+.